Good evening, all. Welcome back to DAS TV. This weekend, Liverpool Arsenal back under the floodlights at Anfield. The 5:30 kickoff, Saturday night football. Who doesn't love that? I certainly do. I can't wait for it. I think this game it's of huge significance. It's hard to believe that we're only 2 points at this stage of the season ahead of Arsenal. Mad, really, when you look at the first couple of games where Arsenal will annihilate it. But since the end of August, that week they had a player sent off. They were beaten 5-0 at the Etihad against City. It was a complete disaster from Arsenal, and it was typical, really. Arsenal going to a top side away from home and being destroyed. But since then, they're on a great run of form. I think since then they're unbeaten in 10 games in all competitions with the League Cup and the Premier League. We know they're not in Europe this season, Arsenal, which for them can be a good thing as well because it gives them more recovery, more focus, prep, concentration for the next game because there's less games for them. Obviously that can be a bad thing as well because players are not playing regularly and stuff, and that's something obviously we wouldn't want at Liverpool. But I think for Arsenal in this transition, we're obviously being a huge season ahead and them pushing to get back into the top four. That could do them wonders. Not playing European football week in week out, they won't have as many congested fixtures, but defensively, since Arteta's went with the back four, a lot stronger, a lot more composed, compact they are with Ben White and Gabriel as centre back. They're unbelievable, you know what I mean? And they've only conceded a couple of goals in the last few games. So Arsenal, they're in great form at the moment. We have to give it to them. Beating Leicester, keeping a clean sheet, beating Watford in the last couple of games, keeping a clean sheet. Look, the win against Watford was a big test for Arsenal. They went 1-0 up, and it was real one of those. They'd show a lot of grit, character, determination to hang on and get the 3 points, and they've done it really well. I thought we're the team at the moment that isn't in as good a form as Arsenal. As I said, we're only in fourth place, 2 points ahead of Arsenal. Who would have thought um, particularly after the last international break? I mean, we probably had I would say three of the four forced away games after the last international break were really tough. Ranieri comes into Watford. We've Watford away. We've Atletico Madrid away. Their first time they've had fans back on Champions League nights at the Wanda Metropolitano. We obviously went there, beat them. It's the first defeat in 4 years in Europe. Then we've United away. Then we Preston away in the League Cup, which look wasn't so hard, but again it was another test for us in a big League Cup game where all the pressure was on us. So the last international break, I thought the first four games we came out, with a lot of urgency, energy, with intensity, with everything there straight from the get go in the games. Very convinced, obviously, with the wins against Watford and United, where I thought that press and that heavy metal football was all there. We were just so good in those games and very composed and compact as well. We needed to be defensively in the midfield. And very clinical in those games. We were ruthless, really. But since that win against United, since we went and beat the Lord Mayor, hasn't been so good for us. 2-0 up against Brighton, could have been three. They come back 2-2. In the end, they probably could have won at Alisson's man the match. Then obviously we put Atletico to the sword. We qualify out the group with 2 games to go. We're unbelievable, weren't we, against Atletico? It was a really sharp, crisp performance from Liverpool. Very, again, on the night, I wouldn't say we were really ruthless in the night because we should have won it by a lot more than 2-0. We're very professional from Liverpool and very aggressive and a really, really good performance. And I thought the intensity in that game was all there from us, and the energy again was great in the night. But unfortunately, with the opposite then against West Ham. And look, Brighton and West Ham, it has us going in now to the international break. We're all a bit disappointed, a bit down about it. But the next couple of games, I feel for Liverpool is make or break. I think it starts off with a huge game at home to Arsenal. Arsenal, I think, will feel this is our best chance in going to Anfield and getting something than it has been the last couple of seasons. Like, let's be honest, the last couple of seasons, Liverpool played Arsenal. We've destroyed them. We've beaten them easy. It's been Banter FC when they've come to Liverpool. They've had no hope. I think the last 5 Premier League games, we might have beaten them in maybe 4 or 5 of the 5 of them, maybe all of them. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but we've a really good record at home to Arsenal, and obviously their record is not so good when they go to Anfield. And as I mentioned at the start of this, they're also the record going away to any of the top clubs hasn't been good. This season it's obviously being poor. Chelsea beat them, City annihilate them 5-0 at home. And we got to go out, and I'm not saying we're going to do the same. I think this will be the acid test for Arsenal because when you look at the last 10 games already, they're unbeaten in them. I think They drew against Brighton and Palace, and those were back-to-back draws, 1-1, I think, and 2-2. Um, but the acid test now is for them because this is the biggest team they've played since Man City have beaten them. And they go to Anfield, obviously a ground where they've had no luck in, and they haven't been good in. They've been destroyed against her. So I look forward to it, and I think Arsenal fans will too. I think Arsenal fans will look forward to this because all the pressure's on Liverpool. There will be a section of Arsenal fans that will expect probably Arsenal. It's probably a reality check the weekend that some of them will expect Liverpool to beat them. But I do think majority of them will go confident enough to Liverpool. Not all confident that they're going to go to Liverpool and win, but that they can go to Liverpool, cause problems, upset the odds, and take something at Anfield. And I think that would be some result for Arsenal. But we got to come out and respond. After the last international break, as I said, we came out and responded brilliantly by shoving Watford aside 5-0, beating Atletico 3-2 there, beating United 5-0, then went to Preston 1-2-0. What I like about us this season is we're scoring a lot of goals. We average 2-3 goals every game, which is really good. The hardest thing in football to do is score goals. If you're scoring goals, you're going to win a lot of games. Unfortunately, though, we're conceding a lot lately. Arsenal have done the opposite. They've been a bit more composed, compact, and we've been leaking a lot of goals. You go back to the start of the season where we go to Brentford, no one sees them scoring 3 goals against us and we're scored in that game, and we did. And Brighton were conceding goals, West Ham. There's been a couple of games. We even went to Atletico that time and conceded 2. Could have been more as well in the night. But I suppose it's okay when you concede goals when you're scoring and you outscore teams, and that's something that we're going to have to, with the likes of Salah and the team having that magic, we got to be doing that more regularly. I know Firmino's out now. I think it's a great chance. I don't know whether Origi's back or not. I know he was injured for Belgium midweek, but it's a good chance for him. I think Minamino now we'll see a lot more of him and Minamino. It's a good chance to be getting in there and getting goals and playing a part and contributing for Liverpool now. Because they'll definitely be given more game time with Firmino out. I know Mane went off injured. He's back in training. Thiago is back for us. Tsimikas, who's going to come in for Robbo. I think Tsimikas, there's not really much of a drop off, which is good for us there. We've a great option in left full for when Robbo's out to have Tsimikas. And Tsimikas took his chance at the start of the season. I thought he was phenomenal. Robbo comes back in, was hot and cold at times, let's be honest. But this again is a great chance for Tsimikas now to come in and prove his worth again. And I don't think he's anything to prove, but I do think he's going to have to be on his A+ game now, because this is a chance that he'll feel if he does really well, he can be really, really stay in competition for Andy Robertson. And I think everybody will agree that if Tsimikas can come through these games while Robbo's out, and can bring a really good shift, can show heart, determination, can give that grit and fight for us, and obviously good performances, because we know how good he is at attacking and assisting and going for goals, Tsimikas, and even good over free kicks and corners. But if he's also good at his defensive part, which is pivotal as well, that he can do that right as a left fullback, then it'd be great to have real staying competition for Robbo, because when Trent and Robbo's available on that day, they're one of the first names in the team sheet. They're obviously our main fullbacks, but it would be nice just to have Tsimikas come in and people to think a little bit differently, because I know at the moment there are a section of the fans that do want to see Tsimikas, because obviously Robbo hasn't been great. I think he's poor against West Ham, wasn't great against Brighton. As I mentioned, he's been hot and cold, but look, Andy Robertson's world class. I think he's just played a lot of football. There is a bit more pressure on him now, obviously, with Tsimikas creeping up behind him and claiming his position anytime he's out and actually putting in good performances. So I think Robbo rests up, comes back, and hits the ground running again, I think. But it's a wonderful opportunity for Tsimikas. I think it's a wonderful opportunity as well now for Thiago, because we want to see Thiago. We haven't seen a lot of Thiago. I think at the end of last season, we went on a really good run, and we won 5 games out of 5. Thiago scores 1 against Southampton, putting some really good performances. I think he was great at Old Trafford in the game where we won 4-2. But you want to see Thiago now. He has to stay fit. He's going to have to be consistent. And, the weekend, I know we have a couple of injuries going into the game, but we could potentially see our best midfield, which is Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago for me. Maybe Ox comes in, we don't know. I know after international games and when international games are on, Klopp normally prefers to go for the lads that are in training more or not on international duty. And obviously Ox wasn't, and he's in training and he's to still get up to full speed. I thought he done really well against Atletico Madrid, but he was poor against West Ham, but I think everyone was poor against West Ham. He was poor against Brighton when he comes on that game. I think he gets an assist, does okay, and then the game just overruns him. He didn't do too much, and maybe starting the West Ham game was a game too soon. But let's wait and see what happens. But look, I think the midfield the weekend. I think Ox has a chance of coming in, but I think it's going to be Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. I think sometimes in certain games you have to play our best team, and I think Arsenal won this. That you have to play our best team, your most experienced and reliable team, and that's why I think we'll go with. There'll be Trent, obviously Simicast comes in with Robbo. I think it'll be Matip, Van Dijk, and then I think obviously look, you can't leave him out. Best player in world football at the moment, the Magic Man, Moment is marvelous. He's magnificent in Mo. We know Bobby's out. I think Jota goes in there, and Mane, who I believe is going to be fit, who at internationals was taken off, but he's back training. So I think that's going to be probably our strongest team to start with against Arsenal. But who knows? Only Klopp will know. But I think Hendo is going to be fit. I think he's trained Wednesday. I think he's obviously trained today. Then he does a bit tomorrow. I think he'll be in against Arsenal. I think the captain, wasn't good in the last two games against Brighton and West Ham, but I think overall he's been really good apart from those games this season. But I think he comes in, and I think he'll come in, Captain Marvel, and put any critics to sides and respond brilliantly like a captain does. And I think all great teams have to respond brilliantly. I know there's talk of if Arsenal win, they can leapfrog Liverpool and win the fourth. But I don't think Arsenal win this. I really don't. I think this is normal service resumes at Anfield. I think it's normal service for us will resume back to winning ways. I do think it's going to be a tight game. I think we do concede again, unfortunately. I think Arsenal, obviously, if we concede, they score. But I'm going to go for us to win 3-1 in this game. I think Arsenal come to Anfield normally and they're rattled. They just can't cope with us, no matter what form they're in. They're obviously in better form now. That they've great momentum, belief. They've a bit of swagger and confidence now about them. And defensively, they're really strong. But Liverpool are Liverpool. I think we're owed, the fans are owed a really good response from the players, and the lads are going to have to come out and step it up and have a go. And put any critics or any talk of fatigue or not being up for it, not having the stomach for it to one side, and go out and beat Arsenal the weekend. And as I said, I think it'll be 3-1 to Liverpool. Let me know in the comments what user score predictions will be. And obviously, if anybody's going to be at the game as well, let me know. I just can't wait for it. I think this is going to be a huge game. And what makes it more exciting is that, Liverpool have to respond. It's a must-win game for Liverpool. And obviously, it makes it more exciting that Arsenal come to town. They're in good form. As I said, they're unbeaten in 10 games. I think they've only conceded 4 or 5 goals maybe since Man City beat them. Actually, they might have even conceded more because they conceded 2 against Palace, 1 against Brighton. But they've kept a lot of clean sheets. But I think it's probably been 4 to 5 goals they've conceded since Man City annihilated them back at the end of August. But they've been in good form. I don't think they get into the top 4 this weekend. I said I think we did now start winning games. I think we have to go and put some sort of consistent run together. We've drawn too many games this season, conceded too many goals. But our rivals have dropped points. Our rivals have drew games, City and Chelsea, who look, let's be honest, it's a 3-horse race, I believe, for the title this season with us, City and Chelsea. On paper, obviously, Chelsea and City will be slighter favourites than us. But look, we don't mind about that. To us, it's just all about turning up, winning games and getting as many points on the board as possible. But we've had many chances this season to capitalise. I think against West Ham, we had a chance to capitalise after Chelsea drew against Burnley, and we didn't. The week before as well, we had a chance to capitalise. But look, when our rivals around us are dropping points, let's just start fresh now. There's no international breaks for the next 4 months. Thank God for that. And let's go out now, a new start, new chapter on the season. The internationals are over till the new year. Go out, start against Arsenal, start getting points on the board, start winning, not conceding as many goals, and let's see what happens. As I said, drop in your score predictions in the comments. I'll be back on Sunday with a video. I'm going to have 1 or 2 guests on, just looking over the Arsenal game. Hopefully we'll be looking over where it went right and not where it went wrong. I believe, as I said, Liverpool with 3-1. I think Salah scores. He hasn't scored in a few games, but I think the magic moment is magnificent. Marvellous. Mo turns up, and it's going to be another Mo moment at Anfield. But I hope you are all well. I hope you have a great weekend, and hopefully Liverpool do what Liverpool do best. Hopefully Liverpool are back. Hopefully it's normal series resumes at Anfield. and it's going to be 3 points for Liverpool. And as I said, 3 goals. It'd be great if we keep a clean sheet, but I'm going for Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. Big up, catches all. I'll be back on Sunday.